Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk about one of my favorite guitar pedals of all time. I use this so much when I'm playing lead guitar. It's like I'm addicted to it, and I know when I turn it on, everything's going to be alright. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the MXR EVH Phase 90. Now in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the history behind it, how I use it, how Van Halen uses it, and at the end we're going to talk about the giveaway, because I'm going to give away this pedal to one of you lucky guys or girls. Alright, let's jump on into it. Now the original Phase 90 pedal was MXR's first pedal, and depending on the source you're going to hear it debuted in either 1972 or 1974. My understanding is that 72 is kind of when it was developed, when it came into fruition initially, and then 74 is kind of like where it really launched into major distribution. Either way, this pedal has reached legendary status over the years. It is to phasers what the Ibanez Tube Screamer is to overdrive pedals. Now the early ones, you could see that they had a very distinct script lettering, like script logo. And then in the later 70s, they would change that to a block style lettering, but more importantly, they also added a feedback resistor. And what that did is it gave it a little bit more of a dirty, more dramatic phase sound. So oftentimes you'll hear people refer to phase 90s as being either block or script phase 90s, and that's the important distinction. It's not just the lettering, it's the sound. And that'll make sense in a minute why I'm talking about that when we get into the Van Halen pedal. Now, some of the early adopters were Jimmy Page and David Gilmour, and then in the later 70s when Van Halen's first album came out, it was all over that album. I mean, to the point where the Phase 90s really become synonymous mostly with Van Halen over any other guitar player. I mean, I've heard guitar extraordinaire Paul Gilbert refer to the Phase 90 as Van Halen 1 in a box, and I can't disagree. I mean, it is all over that first album. Now, the design was very, very basic, right? In addition to the on-off switch, you only had a control for the speed. Now, out of that, you could coax quite a variance of sounds, and also depending on where you put it in the chain, etc., that can also really impact it. We'll get to that in a minute. But it's a very basic design. Now, when Van Halen's signature pedal was released 3 decades later, they kept that simplicity, but they added a little something extra to it. Now, as the story goes, when the engineer that was working on it built the prototype for Eddie to try, apparently he didn't know if Eddie was going to want script or block style phasing, so he put a little button on there so Eddie could try each. And Eddie's response basically was, hey, keep that button on there, you know, make that a regular feature. And so even though Eddie pretty much keeps, as far as I know, he keeps that script button engaged the whole time, it's nice having that flexibility. Alright, now we're going to talk about how I use the pedal and how Van Halen uses the pedal, which is pretty much the same way, okay? Now, you can put it in front of your amp, or you can put it in the effects loop and it's going to sound differently. If you put it in the effects loop, it's going to sound a little more dramatic, a little more pronounced. If you put it in front of the amp, going into the pedal, into the amp, it's going to be a little more subtle. That's the way Van Halen does it, that's the way I do it. I've also found that it kind of drives the front end of the amp just a little bit, and I also found that it kind of rounds out some of the rough edges in the distortion, right? Makes things a little smoother, which makes me play a little bit better, makes me play more confidently. It just makes it easier, right? You may not hear that in my playing, but I feel it and I hear it when I'm playing. So you just have to experience it for yourself. Now in terms of the speed, Van Halen keeps it, you know, kind of between 9 and 10 o'clock. That's where I keep it to. You can turn, if you turn it up more, you're going to start to get a little bit of that, you know, aggressive, warbly phase sound. You don't want that. You want it to be subtle. So keep that down between 9 and 10 o'clock. And also keep that script button in. That's going to give you that more that vintage, mellow, you know, subtle phase. Now in the examples you're about to hear, I'm also using a little bit of delay, a little bit of reverb, which is important for, you know, the Van Halen lead sound. And you're going to hear me play with and without the phaser and listen to that little bit of texture and color and swoosh that it adds to the sound. And for these examples, I'm running it through my Line 6 Helix, but I'm using it just like I would use an amp, and I'm putting it in the placement within the chain just like I would with an amp. So it's going to come out sounding very similar to how it would if I was running through my, my real amp. far, so now we're going to talk about the giveaway. There are 4 easy steps to follow. First, you want to hit the thumbs up button. Now, I have no way of knowing if you really did that, so we'll go by the honor system in respect to that part. Second, leave a comment down below. That's how I'm going to know you're interested in the giveaway. Third, you want to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. So when I pick the winner, I'll go to your YouTube page and make sure that I can see you, or see me, in your subscriber list, so make sure that's visible. And then fourth, you want to share the video with others, at least one person, and you can do that via Facebook or any other social media platform. Or if you're not into that, you can email it to somebody. And what I'll do is I'll probably ask you just for a screenshot showing that you actually did that. So hopefully you found the 4 steps to be simple enough. I know a lot of times these YouTube giveaways are pretty intrusive because you have to get on mailing lists and follow multiple people on Twitch, Twitter, Twat, or whatever's the most relevant new thing. So I'm trying to keep it simple for you guys. Alright, that was my video on the MXR EVH Phase 90. Like I said, I am totally addicted to this pedal. I cannot stop using it. I know you're going to love it too. So if you haven't done so already, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, leave a comment down below. If you have questions, also leave those down below and I will answer all as time allows. Until next time, rock on.